Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tealand. So today we're talking about Nick, Stephanie, and Zach. So Nick made a video yesterday exposing Stephanie, and there was a lot of things he said that made a lot of sense. He did provide a lot of receipts, so at this point I personally don't know who to believe. Stephanie responded to his video on Instagram and she put, "Why would you lie about something like this, Nick?" Yeah, he continued to bluntly lie in his video. "Don't speak for me, Nick." And yes, I have actual receipts, not just texts between gossiping friends. Wow, so Stephanie is not too happy about the video, and now she feels like they were gossiping about her. Which a lot of the texts that Nick showed did show a lot of gossiping back and forth. People saying they don't like her, they don't want to work with her, blah blah blah. And this is probably not the same thing they were telling her in her face. So the main person that was thrown under the bus a lot from Nick's video was Choi. Nick exposed a lot of text messages between him and Zach talking about Stephanie. Now Zach has been saying for a while now that he doesn't want to be involved in this drama between Nick and Stephanie. So a lot of people were asking Nick if Zach gave him permission to release these text messages. I just assumed Zach did give him permission, because if he didn't, why would you be exposing private text messages unless Zach gave him approval to post it? So Zach posted on his Instagram his explanation for the text. So he says, "To be honest, I was taken aback when I was invited to be a part of the docuseries. At that point in time, my friendship with Stephanie had not matured, and her request did hurt me a little because at the time I thought she wanted to use us for business reasons. Out of my own frustration, as well as simply validating a friend Nick's feelings, I said I wonder who her actual friends are. This wasn't meant to imply that she has no friends for the sake of being cruel, but questioning my newly maturing friendship with her. At the end of the day, my words were hurtful and do not present how I feel today. I have apologized to and supported Stephanie privately, but because my words were taken without permission to publicly hurt and humiliate someone, I felt that I had to make a statement." Permission. A lot of people have been reaching out to see if I gave Nick permission to use the shots of our private conversation in the video. Absolutely not. The conversation about Stephanie was prefaced by Nick saying, "Between you and me, what do you think?" At the very least, publicizing conversation past that point is ethical as well as morally questionable. My take on what happened. Nick never liked Stephanie from the beginning. This was obvious and stated in his response. In my opinion, Nick had already decided on two ways the collab would work. With that in mind, none of Stephanie's responses were going to satisfy Nick because I don't think she wanted to spill the tea in the setting. As soon as the camera cut on a three-way collab, I immediately asked Nick why he was trying to expose Stephanie, and the T channels would certainly be uploading titles like Nikocado making Stephanie so uncomfortable for 5 minutes straight if he were to upload the video minimally edited as he normally does for his mukbangs. He didn't seem to understand why I was taking this position on the video until he watched the footage himself. The next day, I would have been shocked that the collab still happened based on how uncomfortable Nick made Stephanie that night before. So the cancellation came as no surprise to me. By the time Nick and Stephanie for a reschedule in the group chat 4:57 Pacific Standard Time, he had already texted me privately that he was going to expose her at 4:30 p.m. This leads me to believe even further that his main priority was simply to expose her all along. A video with all our texts from the day the collab were canceled have been posted. As you will see, Nick becomes increasingly aggressive as I didn't want to join him on condemning Stephanie in private. These texts demonstrate how difficult it is to voice an opposing opinion to his. Whenever I would disagree with him, I'd always have a looming fear he would get mad and use it against me. In my opinion, these are the only relevant private text messages which should have been shared, as they are actually about the event in question and not from 3 months ago. And then Zach posted the text messages. So, "Have you heard from Stephanie? Is she okay? We talked about filming this morning, afternoon before you come over, and I haven't heard anything. I hope she's okay. I don't know what to do. How are you feeling?" And Zach responded, "Just woke up. I haven't heard anything from Stephanie." Nick writes, "Have you heard anything since I called? Notice how her text to us didn't mention rescheduling. Laughing my ass off. I'm exposing her tonight." She bitched about Veronica for over an hour to me, but wants to play the love and rainbows game like a PR statement, and literally told me that we talked about everything on my channel as I was the one made the videos in the first place. So crappy she had to involve you like that. Zach responds, oh my god, keep me out of it please. Nick responds, I feel like she set me up, telling me to talk about Veronica and then turning around saying she never wanted to talk about her to make me look bad. Zach writes, I only heard what was said in front of me. If you make a video, don't involve me in it. Okay, I didn't want to talk to Stephanie until after we got off the phone. Nick writes, then why did you tell me she told you she was up editing all night? What the F? Come on, dude. Zach writes, that's what she told me when I got a hold of her. Nick writes, yes, before we talked. Zach writes, you called me, then I said I'll reach out. Then she hit me back and told me she edited all night. Nick responds, meanwhile, she had tons of messages from me at that point in time. She deliberately ignored me. I don't know what you're trying to say. Zach writes, I'm just telling you the order of events. I don't know what's going on between you two. Nick writes, yup, which is different than she's paying it out to be. Zach writes, but I'm not in the middle of it. Nick writes, she types very carefully but messes up a little bit. Haha. Zach writes, it's between you both. You both are my friends. So I don't want to be involved. I don't want to pick sides. Nick writes, had I not made an Instagram post, she wouldn't be even saying this ish. I saw her Instagram was active for a long time. Anyways, I'm not mad at you. Don't worry. Zach writes, oh my god, I just read it. Nick writes, if you don't want to be in the middle of it, you should communicate that to her. Literally all I've ever heard from her today was through you directly. So she seems to be very happy bringing you in it. I get you don't want to be in the middle, but she's putting you there. Plus, you're texting her too, so I don't know, bringing you along. If she reschedules, I'd believe her, but she hasn't been very honest, and it's just so rude. Zach writes, I'm not texting her. I'm staying out of it. You guys can settle this on your own. Yeah, because you told me to see if she would answer. She answered, we're not having a convo. Nick writes, then how does she know I have a lot scheduled? I told you that, not her. Zach writes, I have no idea, because why would I tell her that? You probably said that to her. I'm not talking about you. That's the truth, man. Nick writes, also, if you see her messages, she just says she has all these deadlines in our collab. She said she was freer than last Christmas. I'm watching the video now. Zach writes, literally none of our convo about her has made it to her through me. She just spins ish. I'm making my video anyway. She can easily make effort to reschedule. She literally told us she can film 3 times a day. Now she has all these sponsors that she didn't know until last night. And then Zach writes, I'm not gonna say anything you're telling me now, but this is also between you and her. I'm not telling you to do it or not to do it. Okay, so these are the messages between Zach and Nick, and as you guys can see clearly, it looks like Zach doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He doesn't want to be the middleman. He doesn't want Nick telling him stuff to tell Stephanie or vice versa, and at some point he is still being dragged into this mess. I don't think Stephanie was the one that dragged Zach in. I really think it was Nick, because Nick did show text messages between Zach and him about Stephanie, which happened 3 months ago, before Zach considered Stephanie a friend. And I think that was messed up. Poor Zach being dragged into all this drama that he didn't want to be in the first place. Let me know what you guys think about this. Don't forget to comment and subscribe.